Hello and welcome to Modern Skills in English. Today, we're talking about a feeling most students know very well. It's that moment at the end of the month when you look at your bank account and ask one simple question: where did all my money go?
It's gone. It's just gone. And I have nothing to show for it. I don't feel like I bought anything big or expensive, but my account is empty. It feels like I have a hole in my pocket. And honestly, it makes me feel stressed and a little stupid. I know I should have a budget, but the idea of tracking every single coffee feels exhausting. So I just don't look. But not looking doesn't make the anxiety go away. How do you solve a problem you're too afraid to even look at?
That's the real question, isn't it? The fear of looking. Most students think the solution to their money problems is a perfect, complicated budget. They believe they need more control, more rules, more discipline.
Yes, exactly. I feel like I need to be more strict with myself.
But what if the problem isn't a lack of discipline? What if the real problem is a lack of clarity? The goal isn't to control your money. The goal is to understand it. We don't need to build a prison for our spending. We just need a map to see where it's going.
A map, not a prison. I've never thought of it like that. A prison feels stressful. A map feels useful.
Exactly. Let's start with the first big idea that holds students back. It's the belief that you need a perfect, detailed system to manage your money.
Right. I've seen those online. Spreadsheets with 20 different categories: transport, groceries, entertainment, snacks, books, subscriptions. It's overwhelming.
It is, and many people believe this is the only way to be responsible. It looks serious and organized, but for most people, it quietly fails.
Why does it fail? It seems so logical.
Because perfection is the enemy of progress. You have a busy day, you buy a small snack, and you forget to write it down. Suddenly, your perfect spreadsheet is broken. You feel like you failed, and that feeling of failure makes you want to quit the entire process.
That is exactly what happened to me. I tried for 3 days, missed one purchase, and I just gave up. I felt like, well, it's ruined now.
So here is the new way to think. Your goal is not a perfect, detailed photograph of your spending. Your goal is a simple, useful map. A map isn't perfect. It doesn't show every tree and every small stone, but it shows you the important things: the rivers, the mountains, the cities. It gives you enough information to know where you are. The first step to creating this map is simply to start tracking, even imperfectly. This first step is the most crucial.
So you're saying it's better to have an incomplete map than no map at all?
Precisely. An 80% clear picture is infinitely more valuable than a 100% blank one. This brings us to the second barrier. It's the emotional one. Most students believe that looking at their past spending is an exercise in guilt.
It is for me. I look at my bank statement and I think, why did I buy that? That was a waste. I shouldn't have ordered that food. It just makes me feel bad about my choices.
And that emotional connection is completely normal. We link money to our decisions and our identity. But this habit of judging yourself is what creates the avoidance. If an action causes you pain, your brain will learn to avoid it. So you stop looking at your spending to avoid the feeling of guilt.
Which keeps me in the dark, and the whole cycle starts again. So how do I stop feeling guilty?
By changing your perspective. Here's the new way to think. You are not a judge reviewing past crimes. You are a scientist observing data. Your spending is not good or bad. It is simply information. It tells a story about your life, your habits, and your priorities.
A scientist just observing. So when I see I spent $50 on takeaway pizza last month, I shouldn't think, that was bad. I should just think, okay, $50 was the number for pizza.
Exactly. You just observe it. Interesting. The data shows that $50 went to that category. When you remove the guilt, the fear of looking disappears. You start to become curious. And once you have that data, you can decide what you want to do with it. You can decide how you want to allocate your resources next month.
Okay, I can see how that would make it less stressful, but it still feels complicated. My money goes to so many different little things. How do I even begin to organize it?
This is the third and most practical turning point. Students believe their spending is too complex to organize easily. A coffee here, a bus ticket there, a book, a subscription. It feels like 100 tiny streams flowing in different directions.
Yes, that's it exactly. How can a simple map show 100 different streams?
It doesn't need to. Because almost every single expense you have can fit into one of just 3 simple categories. This is the new way to think. Forget the 20-category spreadsheet. All you need are 3.
Only 3? What are they?
Category 1 is needs. These are the absolute essentials for you to live, work, and study. Your rent or accommodation, your essential groceries, your transport to university or your job, the electricity bill, things you must pay to survive.
Okay, needs. That makes sense. Rent, essential food, got it.
Category 2 is wants. These are things that make life more enjoyable but are not essential for survival. Your morning coffee from a cafe, dinner with friends, Netflix subscriptions, new clothes that aren't replacements for something broken, a taxi when you could have taken the bus.
That's a lot of my spending. That's probably the category that feels like a mystery.
It is for most people, and it's not a bad category. It's just a category. The third and final one is goals. This is money you are purposefully putting towards a future objective. This could be savings for a holiday, paying off a student loan faster, or investing in a new skill or a piece of equipment for your studies. It's money that's building your future. So all you have to do is categorize your spending into one of those 3 buckets: needs, wants, or goals.
Needs, wants, and goals. That's it? So if I buy a textbook for my class, that's a need. But if I buy a novel to read for fun, that's a want.
Perfect. What about your phone bill?
I need my phone for everything, so that's a need.
And what if you see you're spending a lot on wants? The point isn't to feel guilty and cut them all out. It's to ask yourself a simple question. Is this spending aligned with what I truly value? The key is to do this every week, to be consistent.
Every week. So just once a week, I look at my spending and put each expense into needs, wants, or goals. That actually sounds manageable, not scary at all.
It's designed to be manageable. The system has to be simple and flexible, otherwise you won't stick with it.
Okay, this all sounds very simple, almost too simple. If this is true, why do so many smart, disciplined students still struggle with money? If I just track where my money goes, but I don't force myself to stop spending on wants, won't I just end up with an empty bank account and a very clear report about how it happened? What's the point if it doesn't change my behavior?
That is the perfect question. It's the resistance everyone feels. How can just looking at something change it? The secret is that awareness is the most powerful force for change. You think you need discipline, an external force to change your habits, but you don't. I don't, but I keep making the same mistakes. Let's imagine you do this for 1 month. At the end of the month, you look at your 3 categories. You see that 50% of your income went to needs, 5% went to goals, and 45% went to wants. You see that number, 45%. You are not judging it. You are just observing the data. Now you have a clear choice. A choice about what? You can look at that 45% and say, you know what? I had a great month. I enjoyed those coffees and dinners with friends. It was worth it. I'm happy with that. Or you can look at that 45% and say, wow, I didn't realize it was that high. I have a goal to save for a new laptop, and I'd rather some of that money had gone there. The system doesn't force you to change. It gives you the clear information you need to decide for yourself. The change comes from within, because your decisions are now based on reality, not on a vague feeling of anxiety. So I'm not just seeing that my money is gone. I'm seeing where it went. I'm seeing the trade-off. That 45% on wants is why only 5% went to my goals. It's not magic. It's a direct choice I was making without realizing it. Exactly. You connect your daily spending with your long-term goals. The most crucial part of this whole process is that it puts you in control. You see the numbers, you check in with your own values, and then you decide if you want to allocate your money differently next month.
So the key is to be consistent with tracking, but the system itself can be flexible. If I have a month with a lot of birthdays, my wants category might be higher, and that's okay, as long as I see it and I'm conscious of it. That's it. You learn to manage your money with intention. You don't need to categorize every single thing perfectly. You just need a clear picture. The goal is calm financial awareness, not perfect, stressful control. The whole time, I was trying to build a cage for my money, a budget with strict rules. But what I really needed was just a map to see where it was going. I feel lighter. Just talking about it this way makes me feel like I can actually do this. A map is exactly right. It doesn't tell you where to go. It just shows you where you are. And from there, you can decide on the destination. Hello to everyone listening. We hope this shift in thinking feels as useful to you as it does to us. It really does. If there's another topic that feels stressful or confusing for you as a student, whether it's about studying, time, or anything else, let us know in the comments. We read all of them. Until next time.